from all sides. Vultures circle in, heavy like a stone.
The dig. You may never know. Well, unless you know the original Bob Dylan. That was Nicole Atkins with Vultures. And indeed, we have to watch out for vultures and that we ourselves aren't the vultures. But let us be vultures of compassion, let me suggest, this day and in this season. Bless me. In this season, it's a great time to remember this, and I don't naturally come to it. Let me speak on the meditation, and I'll tell you more. 1 John 3:17. But whoever has the world's goods and beholds his brother in need and closes his heart against him, how does the love of God abide in him? Now, that to me speaks very explicitly, directly of compassion. And as you may or may not know, the word compassion comes from like two French words, I believe, French etymology, and it means to suffer with, to suffer with, to suffer alongside. And indeed, Christ's entire example is about compassion, is about suffering with. That he came to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune of human existence, and took up arms, and by opposing, ended them. And indeed, he suffered with us. He suffered with us in all of our transgression and selfishness and self-governance and in all our desire and attempts to be God, or all our attempts to be him. Jesus is the light of the world, folks. And so often we think we are the light of the world, or we are called to be the light of the world, and that's just another form of us trying to be God. We are vessels. We are tents. We are temporary sojourners on this journey. But while we are here on this journey, even as we look towards that which we are made for, we are still called to live in this compassionate fashion while we're here. While we're on this journey, don't get too caught up in the journey, Brendan. This is totally one that speaks to me because I am definitely in a season right now where God is very specifically nudging me out of my nest of thinking and prayer and meditation and ideology to move out into the world in a more powerful fashion than I have before. And powerful not of my own design, which has so often been the case, but powerful in his way and in his light and illuminated by his thinking and his designs. And a big part of that is compassion. I don't come to compassion that easily. I don't know if that's a male thing or just a me thing or a human thing. Who knows? But the fullness of compassion is very difficult for me. My immediate tendency in a lot of problem areas is to be physically affectionate, which I suppose would seem to reflect as compassion, but not necessarily is. It's just like I want to do something. Physically affectionate and then try to solve whatever problem is there. How can I solve this? It becomes a vehicle for me to exercise control, which we all have very little of and pretend that we have tons of. So this is a deep exhortation to myself, and I hope you all will hear it and draw near to it, that this season is important. This Christmas season is a great time to remember these things. There's a great Christmas present. It presents the present of his presence, that we might be present in the present, in his presence. And to be truly present is to see with eyes that are not our own, eyes that are not daydreaming, eyes that are not turned inward, eyes that are not turned towards what we might gain and what we might do, but how we might serve and how we might more be his. Christ moved, lived, and died by those same principles. Died that we might live in those same principles. That we might love God with all our heart, soul, and mind, and love our neighbor as ourself. And our neighbor is anyone in need. And it's easy, especially in LA, which has whatever, 60% of the country's homeless population, to get a little inured sometimes to need and to want. But I encourage you, especially in this season, to give gifts. We are accustomed in this time to wrap and give gifts. So maybe you don't have to wrap it. You can wrap it if you're good at wrapping, and that's fun for you. But give gifts and seek where they are asked for. And give gifts not only of tangible things. Some people need tangible things. If you have the world's goods, it says here. But world's goods can be the little thing. It could mean cash, could mean food, could mean whatever. But it can also mean that which you are graced with. Natural talents of. Abilities to see certain things. I have some abilities, and one of them is to see that Christ was real. That Christ was real and dwells now among us, if you but turn from yourself and cry out and move and live in a new way, and desires to give you a heart of flesh. A heart of flesh when you have this heart of stone, or a heart of spirit if you have a heart of flesh, however you want to play that metaphor out. It's important how you live. It is important how you live. And key to this is compassion, to suffer with those who are suffering. My heart suffers for those of you in suffering now. My heart suffers for those of you who don't know Christ. This is what I have to give. There are many other things I will be called to give, no doubt, in this day and weeks and years to come, however long I am left in this journey. Help join me. This world is broken. Let us repair it. Let us repair it with the tools God gives. Let us repair it as the tools God gives. Peace be unto y'all. Merry Christmas season. Amen and Selah.